Welcome to the CitrusTV studio for another edition of Beat the Bookie with Braden Reed. I'm Ben Spector. Thank you so much for joining us. Braden, you ready to make some money?
Ben, I'm excited. It's bowl season here on Beat the Bookie. A lot of fun games to pick. I'm looking forward to it.
We got the college football playoff. We got a lot of bowl games. Look, bowl season has sort of lost its charm a little bit. A lot of players are sitting out the bowl game. But what hasn't lost its charm is conference championship weekend. But Jack Gordon and Austin Barrick did not do a very good job. Simply put, I'm just being honest. Lost over $50. They wanted to make some money. They ultimately fell flat.
Everyone always says they want to make money, right?
But we're going to do it.
I feel confident in it. We've got some good picks for you today. A lot to get to. That'll be fun.
So this semester, we've got some up and down performances. We'll start with the low performances. Liam Griffin, Joe Puccio, the conference championship picks. That's not where we're going to be.
More than $140 between two people.
That's not
tough to do.
That's not very good. But what is very good is what Jack Gordon and Jesse Cook did. Look at Jesse Cook's numbers from November 9th. $366.
You gotta love a good parlay. That's how you make all the money. That's where all the big money's made. So big ups to Jesse on that one.
And that's Jesse Cook the second, by the way, the second edition of Jesse Cook. All right, we start with the biggest stage, the Rose Bowl, game number 1 in the college football playoff. And look, we got the Big Ten champion in Michigan taking on the number 4 seed SEC champion in Alabama. Michigan has just dominated all season long amidst all the drama with the head coaching position with J.J. McCarthy. Blake Corum in the backfield. The defense has been spectacular. And on the other side, Alabama started off a little bit slow with Jalen Milroe, lost to Texas early in the season, but beat Auburn on a 4th and 31 touchdown late, and then ultimately took down an undefeated Georgia team in the SEC championship. I think that Jalen Milroe in the biggest stage has struggled sometimes. I'm not having that great confidence in Milroe's performance, especially in this game. So I'm taking Michigan minus 1.5. The Wolverines cover over Alabama. $10 on that bet.
It's the granddaddy of them all. You got a lot to be excited about in this game. I agree with your point. Look, both of these quarterbacks, we just haven't really seen them on the biggest stage at least play super well. J.J. McCarthy hasn't been asked to do a ton this year, really relying on the running game with Blake Corum like you're talking about. And Jalen Milroe, some have been saying Jalen Midroe, been playing better down the stretch this season. Obviously, the incredible play against Auburn. I have doubts about his ability against a really, really good Michigan defense. I like it. I think Michigan comes out on top.
And I like how Michigan performed against Ohio State. That was really big for me to determine, okay, are the Wolverines legit? And they also shut out an Iowa team 26-0. The Hawkeyes have a sneaky good defense. So a good offensive performance from the Wolverines in the Big Ten Championship.
Great stuff from Michigan on offense and the defensive side of the ball all season long. That'll be a fun one to watch. We'll look at the other college football playoff game, though. The Sugar Bowl with number 2 Washington, an undefeated Pac-12 champion, taking on number 3 Texas. The one lost to Oklahoma, but did end up winning the Big 12 to punch their ticket to the college football playoff. The spread, 4.5 in favor of Texas in this one, and you see why, right? Texas has been so good offensively as of late. Steve Sarkisian really has that offense clicking, so Ben and I are taking the Longhorns to cover in this one. $10 on Texas to advance to the national championship game. Ben, this Texas team in the trenches, out wide, just so talented, and like I said, really clicking on all sides.
This is a Texas team that has the number 1 scoring defense in the Big 12 and the number 3 scoring offense in the conference. So they're multifaceted. They can play both sides of the ball very, very well. Quinn Ewers has that group rolling right now, and Texas, that big win over Alabama, put the country on notice, and it's especially showing here they made the college football playoff.
Xavier Worthy, Adonai Mitchell out wide, 2 really, really good receivers for Quinn Ewers to throw the football to, and Texas is ready to go.
And Jonathan Brooks as well in the backfield.
Absolutely.
So Braden, national champion.
It's a great question. So
What's
we have
our
Texas
win? What's our
and
bet?
Michigan, as we pick those two to make the game.
That's true.
I think it's Texas. I think it stays hook 'em horns. I'll tell anybody who listens, I was on this team from the start. We like Texas to win it all, plus 275. Look, just so fantastic. We've talked about it. It'll be a great game. We'll have to see what the Steve Sarkisian offense looks like against the Jim Harbaugh defense. An unstoppable force meeting an immovable object, if you ask me. But it'll be a great game if that ends up being the national championship, but I'm confident in our horns.
Braden, you've been a Texas guy from the beginning, and I was on this very program right before Texas and Alabama went head-to-head. I bet on the Tide minus 7.5 in that moment, but I was horns down then. I'm horns down up now. Look, we can learn. That's what happened.
People can change.
I learned. People can certainly change. But now let's see how our picks compare to the C-suite. I was about to say look at the picks, but look at the picture. That's
so
great
incredible.
stuff.
It's a Caddyshack reference for those of you who don't know. Judge Smales and Chevy Chase, incredible movie.
The hats really do the trick. So We agree on Michigan covering -1.5 over Alabama. We also agree on Texas covering -4.5 against Washington. I know Washington finds ways to win, but Texas just a better team. If you find a way to win all the time, it's just unsustainable success, although I do love teams that find ways to win. We think that Texas is going to win the national championship. They think that Michigan is going to win the national championship. That pick could be for all the marbles regarding hosts versus producers on this show.
Could tie it up, so a lot on the line for us, but like I said, I'm confident in that Longhorns pick. All right, we'll look at some other bowl games now. We'll go to Penn State taking on Ole Miss in the Peach Bowl. It's going to be a great one. Ethan Frank, our executive producer, notably not a huge Penn State fan, thinks they're fluffy, thinks they can't win a big game. He's a little bit right, but how are you fluffy as a top 10 team in the country? Penn State does a lot of things well. Drew Aller has been fantastic. That is an NFL talent in the backfield for the Nittany Lions, and I think they roll over Ole Miss in this game. Penn State just does so many things well on the ground game, through the air, Ben. I really, really like what Penn State's been doing this season. I think they win by 1 to 13 points in this game. Gives you some better odds at +175. A lot to like in that matchup, but I think Penn State comes out on top.
You said roll over. How could you trust a James Franklin team? I mean, I've seen the Nittany Lions.
It's not against Ohio State.
Fall. I don't care who it's against. I'm just saying, I actually agree with our executive producer, Ethan Frank, here. They fired their offensive coordinator for a reason. Drew Aller, I think, is a very good quarterback, but I just don't trust Penn State against Ole Miss in that bowl game. That's just my 2 cents.
I think they do just enough, which is why I took the 1 to 13 points bet. It gives you a little better odds. I don't think Penn State crushes them. I shouldn't have used rolled over.
You said rolled over.
I think Penn State does enough to get past Ole Miss in this game.
All right, so he thinks that Penn State wins. We're also going to shift focus to the Big Ten. I mean stay, because Penn State's in the Big Ten. Ohio State also in the Big Ten in the Cotton Bowl, going up against number 9 Missouri. Look, here's the thing about this game. Ohio State doesn't really have much certainty about the players that are going to be suiting up for the Buckeyes. Kyle McCord in the transfer portal. So that leads Devin Brown, the sophomore, to start. Never had any starting experience at the collegiate level. Marvin Harrison Jr., Michael Hall, Travion Henderson, we don't know if they're going to play. Undecided. So, star players on both sides of the ball for Ohio State are in question in terms of their availability. Missouri, meanwhile, has had some big wins, played Georgia really close, by the way. I think the Tigers cover this game 2.5. Ohio State hasn't lost a bowl game, a non-college football playoff bowl game, I should say, since 2013. That doesn't matter. The past is the past. We got to focus on the present here. This Ohio State team is very different. I got Missouri -2.5. Brady Cook, Cody Schrader are absolutely going to shred in the run game for the Tigers offensively. I like Missouri in this one. I'm not falling for the logo that Ohio State has.
Good man on scouting the helmet. I like Missouri a lot. I think they win this game too. You talked about Marvin Harrison Jr. might not play in this game. Emeka Egbuka, their second best receiver, could not play in this game. He could head to the NFL draft. Julian Fleming as well, their third best receiver, entered the transfer portal. So what Ohio State's offense is going to look like, I have no idea, but I think Missouri gets it done against them.
Exactly, and that's the big thing. That's the thing with these bowl games, right? Players sit out, so it's not the same team that we've seen all season long. You have to adjust your bets to that. $10 on Missouri -2.5 is a good bet because the Tigers have a lot of players, key players, performing in this game.
It'll be weird, but I think the Tigers get it done over a undermanned Ohio State
I love it
team,
when we
if you will.
agree.
It's great. It's great. So much better for the program. And we move now to the Fiesta Bowl, where number 8 Oregon takes on number 23 Liberty. The spread in this game, 17.5 in favor of the Ducks. And you think about it, the Flames are undefeated, but they've played one of the easiest schedules in the entire country. And you look at a team like Oregon, has beaten teams by an average of about 26 points throughout this season, just crushed their opposition, but had their trouble with the Huskies. Washington is a way better team than Liberty is. I think Oregon dominates in this game, wins by 3 touchdowns, maybe even more. I've got $10 on the Ducks to win it by more than 17.5, Ben. It's a lot of points. That line can definitely scare some people away.
It scared me.
Bo Nix is going to play in this game, though, before taking his talents to the NFL. Guy just loves college football. You love to see that.
That's why I'm no longer scared. Because at first I saw 17.5 and I thought, oh boy, what could this mean? But then I know that Bo Nix is playing. I trust that Oregon against Liberty can win by more than 18 points. I think that Bo Nix makes all the difference. A fantastic college quarterback, and I think that the Ducks get it done. Quack, quack.
We'll have to see if Troy Franklin plays in this game as number 1 wide receiver, another guy who could head off to the NFL draft, but even so, Bo Nix, a Heisman finalist, he'll do just enough to beat Liberty up pretty good.
You quacking?
I'm quacking.
I'm quacking.
Quack, quack.
I'm quacking. I agree with that pick. But also, we're going to Iowa versus Tennessee in the Citrus Bowl. Ironic, we're on CitrusTV and we're talking about the Citrus Bowl. Who would have thought? But anyways, Iowa versus Tennessee. The Volunteers have the 4th best scoring offense in the SEC, average about 35 points per game. even though the number is 36.5 for total points in this contest, I'm taking the under. Look, I've run the numbers, I've looked at the stats. The last time Iowa was involved in a game where both teams combined for more than 36 points, you have to go all the way back to September 30th against Michigan State. This is a Hawkeyes group that loves defense and grinds out matchups. Iowa loves the under, so I'm taking this game to go under 36.5 points.
That's truly sick stuff. But this Iowa offense, I should say, has just been so bad all year long. The under is probably going to hit in this game. Tennessee, though, fun fact about them, they had the largest lead of the season against the playoff team. Hang the banner, they were beating Alabama by 13 points. Lost the game, of course, but Tennessee, at least you can talk about that.
Look, I love the saying, life's too short to bet the under. Of
course.
But I'm betting the under because I think it's going to win.
Smart money makes money.
Yeah, $10 on that.
I like it. We'll move now to the Tony the Tiger Sun Bowl. Get your Frosted Flakes folks out, folks, because we have Notre Dame taking on Oregon State in this matchup. No Sam Hartman, no Joe All, the star left tackle for the Fighting Irish, so Notre Dame favored by just 6.5 points in this game, but I do like the Fighting Irish. I'm going to put $15 on them in this game. Audric Estime just so talented at tailback for this Notre Dame team. I think they do just enough to beat that Oregon State team who's going to be missing DJ Uiagalelei, who's into the portal, and another guy who's been playing a lot of college football throughout his career. I think the Fighting Irish ground game is just so dominant that they beat Oregon State by more than a touchdown.
I agree, and I like that you talked about Audric Estime because that guy is a bully in the ground game. He could run downhill, he could break tackles left and right. I love the way Audric Estime runs, and the key thing in this matchup is that, like you said, both quarterbacks not playing. DJ Uiagalelei in the transfer portal, something that's easily forgotten about. By the way, Pete Thamel reported that he's looking at Florida State, so that could be an interesting mix there. Anyway, speaking of this game, though, I agree with you. I think Notre Dame comes.
Riley Leonard will be in the portal for Notre Dame, but Notre Dame will be fine.
I definitely agree. All right, we're headed to New York. We're headed to the Bronx, Yankee Stadium for the Pinstripe Bowl. Rutgers versus Miami. Rutgers, for some reason, is an underdog. I was shocked by this. Miami has lost Tyler Van Dyke to the transfer portal. He moved on to Wisconsin. Jump around, by the way, on Wisconsin. Then, on top of that, Emory Williams, the backup quarterback, suffered a season-ending injury. Miami has lost 10 of the last 11 bowl games outright. And when you look at this Canes offense, who's going to play quarterback? That position, the number one position in football, and I'd argue in all of sports, is in question. Rutgers has the home fan base, New Jersey, Piscataway, kind of near Yankee Stadium, so fans will show out for that one. Also, not that many key players for the Scarlet Knights lost in this contest. Miami in the cold weather. I mean, down south in Florida, the Sunshine State. There's a lot of sun down there. It's pretty warm. So I'm taking Rutgers money line over Miami plus 100, $15 on that. I love the Scarlet Knights in this game. I love the Big Ten over the ACC.
Greg Schiano, fresh off the contract extension.
That's true.
He's going to be coaching his tail off, I'm sure. And you said it. It's a real point. Miami having to play at Yankee Stadium in December, that's going to be a big ask for the Hurricanes. So I think Rutgers, obviously in New Jersey, has the experience of playing in the cold weather, and I certainly think it plays a factor in this game.
Rutgers played Ohio State close earlier this year as well. All right, let's recap some of the picks that we made here. We started with Michigan covering against number 4 Alabama in the Rose Bowl in the college football playoff. Then Braden loves Texas, right?
Horns up.
$15, Texas to cover over Washington, then the national champion. Texas, we think, is going to bring it all home to win the national title in the college football playoff era, the first time the Longhorns would have ever done that. Then Braden, Penn State, right? 1 to 13 points.
By 1 to 13 gives you some better odds. I think it'll be a close matchup. Penn State, I think, is better than people have given them credit for. Better people around the CitrusTV studios, but they do just enough to win by about a touchdown plus.
Interesting pick. I still think Ole Miss might win that one. But anyways, $10 on that. Then $10 on number 9 Missouri covering against number 7 Ohio State. Braden and I on this program do not fall for the logo. We watch the tape. We study the stats. We know what we're talking about. Then you think Bo Nix and co. are going to absolutely dominate over Liberty.
Bo Nix playing in that game just means the world. I think they win by at least 3 touchdowns. It's going to be a bloodbath, to be respectful about it, for Liberty. One of the easiest schedules. Yes, they are undefeated, but I think Oregon a way better team for $10 there.
Braden and I agree that we are quacking all the way for Oregon. Iowa and Tennessee. Iowa just loves the under, and they help other teams help them get to that under. So I put $10 on number 17 Iowa and number 21 Tennessee under 36.5 points. Braden loves the Irish.
I do. I think the Irish get the ground game working against Oregon State, and will be without DJ Uiagalelei, so that's why I'm putting $15 on that one. Some big money.
$15 on that. $15 also on Rutgers as the underdog, I must say, to win money line over Miami in New York, Yankee Stadium, the Bronx, at the Pinstripe Bowl. All right, that's all the bets that we have, but before we sign off, we must thank our executive producer, Ethan Frank, and our associate producer, Jordan Leonard. This is their final show as a team together, and the two have worked extremely hard to put out a great product.
As a former producer of this show myself, I had Ethan as my associate producer before he took over, obviously, as the executive producer. One of the hardest workers I've ever met. Guy just grinds every day in and day out. Has done great things with this show. Jordan, obviously, helping out, taking over as EP. Going to do great things with Arnov as well.
From Ethan Frank, Jordan Leonard, Braden Reed, myself, Ben Spector, we say so long, make those bets, make some money, and enjoy bowl season.